Good morning and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. I hope everyone is doing well on this Thursday morning. We've got a massive show to bring you guys today. But before we jump into that, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if this is your first time watching. And let's get straight on into it. So on the show this morning, we're going to be reacting to a story that came out late last night saying that apparently Real Madrid are interested in re-signing Raphael Varane. We'll get into that, of course. I'll give you my thoughts, my reaction. We'll also be talking a little bit about Jean-Claire Todibo with a potential blow to Manchester United, with Tottenham now in direct negotiations with Nice over the signing of Jean-Claire Todibo. We'll also be talking a little bit about a swap deal for Jadon Sancho. Lots of other stuff to get into as well on the show this morning. So as always, please do get involved in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on all things Manchester United. I'd love to see what you guys have to say. So please do get in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are. Yeah, and I'll make sure I go through and read all those comments. Let's start off with this story about Raphael Varane then, because this one did catch me by surprise a little bit, to be completely honest with you. Now, let me give you a bit of context about why this story came out first, because people are probably thinking, why would Real Madrid want Varane back? Which I get. You know, they sold him because he was apparently injury prone, which I guess is a fair analysis. He does seem to be injury prone. Now, this story's coming out from Sport Bild, as well as a couple of other Madrid-based journalists. And the headline is that Manchester United's 30-year-old French midfielder defender Raphael Varane is now an option for Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Newcastle. And then there's another story from Sport Bild which specifically highlights Raphael Varane. And the reason for this is because David Alaba, obviously one of their starting centre-backs, got injured. I think it was on Tuesday. He got injured. I think he's going to be out for the rest of the season. So they've just lost effectively their starting centre-back. Obviously, they've still got Eder Militao, who's a world-class centre-back. But I don't know who else they have in the centre-back position. I know obviously they've got Militao, David Alaba. Those are the two starting centre-backs, aren't they? So they've just lost their number one centre-back, if you like, and they need a replacement. Obviously, Raphael Varane knows the club like the back of his hand. He's won 5 Champions Leagues there, countless Spanish leagues and all the rest of it. Do I think this deal will happen? It's a difficult one. It's difficult because you never know. Obviously, they've got Rudiger as well. But other than that, their centre-back options don't look too good. They've got Militao, who is actually injured as well, at the moment. Militao's injured. David Alaba's injured. So their only options are Rudiger and Nacho Fernandez, who, let's be honest, is not on the level of any of those other players. Obviously, Real Madrid have the kind of money to get this deal done. Would Varane want to return to Real Madrid? I'm sure he would. I'm sure he'd want to go and continue, the legacy he started there before. But what I want you guys to let me know is, would you sell Raphael Varane to Real Madrid? Now, let me double check what we paid for him. I highly doubt Real Madrid would give us the same amount of money back. I'd be very surprised if they did. Varane's 30 years of age. We paid 40 million euros for him 2 years ago, or 2.5 years ago. From what I'm hearing this morning, Manchester United would want somewhere between 20 and 30 million euros for Varane, which I think is fair. Obviously, if it was 30, that would be great. Would Real Madrid pay 20, 30 million euros for Raphael Varane? I think they'd probably pay 20, to be honest. I mean, that's half of what we bought him for 2 years ago. So, they're still 20 million euros up there. Obviously, Varane's on really high wages as well. I think he's on around 300 grand a week. Which might be an issue at Real Madrid, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see what happens with this one. Obviously, if Varane stays, then I imagine we probably won't get a new centre-back. But we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, we know that Saudi Arabian clubs are interested. We know that Real Madrid are now interested. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. But let me know what you think in the comment section, guys. Would you sell Raphael Varane to Real Madrid or not? Let me know. Everybody who's just joined, please smash a like on the video, by the way. It really helps the channel. It helps to bring more people in to the stream. So if you haven't already, do smash a like on the video. It does, it really does help, and I really do appreciate it. So please do that. I'm just going to do something quickly. Royden says Varane is staying. Eric Ten Hag is demanding that Casemiro shouldn't be sold either. Yeah, that was a story that came out last night from Rob Dawson, wasn't it? Over at ESPN. The thing is, right, as I've said to you guys on this channel many, many times before, so many different journalists put out stories, and ultimately it doesn't really mean anything at this stage, you know? Rob Dawson can write that Erik ten Hag wants Varane to stay. That doesn't mean he'll stay, you know? Maybe the club will say he's on too much money, we're out of Europe, we need to sell him. Like, just because Erik ten Hag wants something, or just because one journalist says one thing, like, stuff can change so quickly in football. So it's definitely one to keep an eye on. I assume that Real Madrid will have a list of, 5 or 6 different centre-backs, and Varane is one of those 5 or 6. So, yeah, if anything, to be honest with you, either way, whether he goes or not, I think it definitely weakens our position going into January, because we need a centre-back. And now we know that Tottenham are looking for a centre-back, which we'll talk about in a minute. Real Madrid are looking for a centre-back, which we've just spoke about. And obviously Manchester United are looking for a centre-back. I think Newcastle are looking for a centre-back as well. Obviously, they've got quite a lot of injuries, don't they, in centre-back? So there's 4 top clubs all looking for the same position in a window where a lot of clubs don't want to do business. It's not ideal, really, to be completely honest with you. Obviously, Real Madrid are going to have the biggest pull out of all of those clubs, then probably us, then Newcastle, then Tottenham. So in theory, we should, have a bit of an upper hand here. But the biggest problem for United is we don't have any money. So we're going into negotiations probably saying, oh, we'll give you 5 million now, 5 million in the summer, 5 million next year. Whereas Tottenham can walk into these, into these meetings with £100 million in their pocket from the Harry Kane transfer, which they didn't spend any of, remember, yet, and simply say, we'll give you 30 million now. Here you go, take the money. And I think it does really strengthen their position. Same with Newcastle. Like, I know, they have to comply with financial fair play and stuff, but they've got obviously way more money than we do because of their new owners. The same with Real Madrid. Like, they've got ridiculous amounts of money, Real Madrid, whereas we're scraping around the barrel to, do a deal for Amrabat on deadline day where we're paying like 8 million up front, 12 million next year if we want him. It's embarrassing, isn't it? And I do just wonder whether that will set us back in this window. And I wonder whether, as some journalists have reported, that United will have to sell players in order to buy. And realistically, Maguire's not going to go. Scott McTominay's not going to go. Like, all of the people that we probably would like to leave the club, Sancho, we're probably not even going to get any money for. Like, the obvious areas where we should be able to get money, we're unable to sell for whatever reason. Maybe it's because they're on too high wages. Maguire's on 200 grand a week. Nobody's going to pay him 200 grand a week. And that's the issue we find ourselves in. We do have assets, players there that are available to sell and to bring in money. We just, because we've given them such high wages, we're just simply unable to sort it out. But let me know what you guys think. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Scott says, what would you do if you were Varane, if a team like Real Madrid was trying to buy me and had Champions League to a club on the decline like us? There's no big decision here. Yeah, mate, if I was Varane, I would 100% go. 100%. Yeah, I would be gone immediately. I would go. And obviously that's him being not a Manchester United fan, Varane's not a Manchester United fan. He came to the club for a new opportunity, for a new challenge. And let's be honest, we've won 1 trophy in that time. Like, he came when Cristiano Ronaldo was here. Cristiano Ronaldo's gone now. Yeah. Let's see what else people are saying in the chat. Scott says Spurs bought good players, though, in the summer window. Maddison, Van de Ven and Johnson. Yeah, they did. They bought some really good players, and fair play to them. And you know why they bought good players? That's not because of the manager. It's because they just got this new director of football, didn't they? I think he was the director of football at Juventus, potentially. I can't remember what the guy's name was, but he was one of the most highly sought-after directors of football around, and Tottenham managed to get him. So, yeah, fair play to Tottenham. Talking of Tottenham, the headline this morning, or late last night, sorry, is that they are in now direct negotiations with Nice over the signing of Jean-Claire Todibo. Manchester United haven't even started negotiating yet. They've already spoken to the player. This was coming out from Fabrizio Romano. So I would say that Todibo will go to Tottenham, to be honest with you, because, as I said, Tottenham have £100 million in their pocket available to spend. United don't. So obviously, stranger things can happen in football. Maybe, he'll reject them, but I think he'll go to Tottenham personally. So that's another player we've missed out on. Obviously, we didn't get Kim Min-jae. We didn't get, what's he called? Frankie de Jong, obviously, because he didn't want to come. The list goes on and on and on and on of these first choice targets that Erik ten Hag wanted, and we'll end up with probably, I don't even want to imagine who we're going to end up with. We got Johnny Evans, and to be fair, Johnny Evans has done all right, but I wouldn't say he was, on the level of Kim Min-jae or Todibo personally. We went from at the beginning of last transfer window saying we're going to get Kim Min-jae to ending up with getting Johnny Evans as a free agent. Like, it just shows the level of where we are at the moment financially. Comeback King says Todibo will go to Madrid. And Scott says Daniel Levy can put together a good deal. Yes, he can. Yes. Right, let's talk a little bit about Sancho really, really quickly. Obviously, we spoke yesterday about Manchester United potentially terminating his contract. Do I think that will happen? I'm not sure, to be honest. I think it's probably unlikely. As I said on the show last night, to terminate his contract is going to cost you about £18 million. And I think the only way we terminate his contract is if there was simply no club who was willing to take him. I think there are clubs willing to take him. It's just whether a deal can be done. Obviously, his wages, 350 grand a week, make it very difficult to get him out of the club. And we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. But there is still a strong possibility that Manchester United will get back in contact with Dortmund over a potential swap deal with Malen. Right winger, obviously plays for the Dutch national team, 22 years of age. Seems like a good player. I don't think he's world class, but I think he'd be a good squad player. I don't know. It doesn't really excite me, to be honest with you, but we desperately need another person to come into that right wing position. Obviously, there's the big elephant in the room, which is Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood is one of the in-form players in La Liga at the moment. He's absolutely taking it by storm. He's taken a team in Getafe who usually finish in the relegation area, and he's got them up to 7th or 8th. He's putting in 8 out of 10 performances every single game. Against Atletico Madrid a couple of days ago away from home, 8 out of 10 performance. And the headline this morning is that apparently Barcelona and Real Madrid are tracking the progress of Mason Greenwood at Getafe. And the story goes on to say it is still highly unlikely that he will ever play for Manchester United again. So we'll have to wait and see. This will be probably one of the biggest decisions that Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos have to make. And I want you guys to let me know in the comment section, do you think Mason Greenwood should come back to Manchester United? Obviously, there is no question about his talent. As I just said, he is literally one of the in-form players in the Liga at the moment. I watched some of the Atletico Madrid game yesterday, and he was unbelievable. Genuinely, he was quality. So yeah, from a footballing perspective, there's absolutely no doubt that he's better than anything we have in those wing positions. He's better than Garnacho. He's better than Antony. He's better than Rashford, I think. Obviously, he's better than Sancho. Sancho doesn't even play football for us. So yeah, it's a difficult one. It really, really is. And the fact that these other bigger clubs in the Liga are circulating, as I said, apparently Real Madrid and Barcelona are both interested in signing him. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Obviously, it's a difficult, touchy situation. I appreciate that. But let me know what you guys think on that one. Let's see what else people are saying in the chat. Josh says, apparently Greenwood wants to stay in Spain. Fair enough. I hadn't seen that, but yeah, fair enough. Saf says it would be good for Greenwood not to come back to this club. I agree, to be honest with you. Now, this is me talking about it from Greenwood's perspective. I think life for him in Spain would be much better. If he comes back to Manchester United, he's just going to be abused, isn't he? He's just going to be constantly berated. He's going to be constantly hounded. His family, his partner, his young child, baby, however old they are. Like, he can live a life in Spain where he probably goes unrecognised, I would imagine. Apart from obviously in Getafe, Getafe's in Madrid, right? I might have just completely got that wrong. No, Getafe's a place. I don't know where I'm thinking of. There's another Madrid team, isn't there? I can't remember what it is. Anyway, yeah, he probably walks around unnoticed. People probably don't know who he is. He'll come to Manchester United. Every single time he leaves his house, he'll probably have 10 press people following him, putting stories up every time he goes to the shop. Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, right, if there's clubs like Real Madrid and Barcelona circling for him, I mean, let's be honest, both of those clubs are in a much better position than us at the moment. Both of those clubs will be able to pay him the same amount of money that we're paying. So there's not really any. I don't know. I would be shocked if he comes back, and that's not me saying I don't want him back, this, that, and the other. I just think from looking at it from an outside perspective, like, why would he come back? Yeah, I mean, at the moment, he's only paid £50,000 a week, which obviously sounds like a lot to me or you, but, you know, if you look at that in context to Real Madrid's kind of wages, he's paid 50 grand a week at Manchester United at the moment. Real Madrid would probably double that easily, you know? I mean, Real Madrid's lowest earning player is on 50 grand a week. Their highest earning player, Toni Kroos, is on nearly 500 grand a week. If you go even somebody like that Arda Güler guy, who's that Turkish guy, that young guy, he's on 100 grand a week. So yeah, he could easily go to one of those teams, earn double what he's earning now, never have to be bothered again, which I think would be great for him. I really do. So yeah, I don't think he'll come back personally. I think, you know, if he'd have done really badly at Getafe and nothing had happened, you know, and he'd not put in any good performances, I think he probably would have said, oh, maybe I'll come back, maybe I'll try. But the world is his oyster now. He's 22 years of age. He's living in a new country. Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. But I don't think Man United will bring him back. I don't think Greenwood would even want to come back, because why would he? He could move on to better and bigger things now, to be honest with you. Manchester United at the moment, like, even if he came back, he's going to be absolutely berated, and we're still probably going to be battling for top four. Whereas he could go and play for Real Madrid, be in the Champions League, go and play for Barcelona, be in the Champions League, and probably actually win some trophies. So yeah. Everything Carpi says, I can see Qatar buying United if the Super League is back on, as he can afford it. Yeah, I mean, there is obviously this story coming out this afternoon about the Super League, isn't there? Just the whole Super League thing again. Yeah, so the story this morning is the European Court of Justice have ruled that UEFA and FIFA acted against competition law when they blocked the formation of the European Super League in 2021. Yeah, and then the headline is, breaking news, the European Court of Justice rules in favour of the European Super League over UEFA and FIFA. Okay, and La Liga have just put out... Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. Do you know what does make me wonder, though? Let me just say this now, before I wrap up the video. Does anybody else think it's a coincidence that nothing has been announced about the Manchester United takeover now? And they're waiting for this Super League thing to come out. I bet you any money, I bet you they're waiting for this announcement on the Super League. And you never know what's going to happen after that. They might say we're taking bids again. Because if the Super League potentially ever could come back, Manchester United's value would be worth even more than what Jim Ratcliffe's paying now. So, yeah, it's a difficult one, and it does make me wonder what's going on here. Maup says the Super League is never going away. Yeah, it is. It's a bit mad, isn't it? It is. Maup says Super League is the death of football, in my opinion. Final nail in the coffin. Ginge says the Super League won't involve United anyway. Only big clubs would be invited. We are not a big club anymore. We would be invited, mate. I know it's easy for us to say, oh, we're not good enough. You know, we're average. We're mid-table. But at the end of the day, we've got so many fans. People will watch our football matches, and that's what the Super League is about. It's about, you know, people watching it. Yeah, so I think that the reason why this takeover has taken so long, or this announcement, whatever you want to call it, is simply because of this Super League thing, and it is going to be announced today. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined me. I will be back live. I think I'll be live about 6 o'clock this evening, because I've got to go out this evening. So yeah, about 6 o'clock I'll be live. Make sure to smash a like before you go, and make sure to subscribe. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined me on the show this morning. This has been Daily Red Devil. Have a nice day, everyone, and speak soon. Woo!